Oh, well. The Lakers are now 4-3 on their Eastern, or actually, this is put it this way, the 8-game road trip. They close out their 8-game road trip against the Brooklyn Nets tomorrow. And man, very disappointing. Very disappointing seeing the Lakers with another bad second half performance. You play against a New York Knicks team who are now on a 6-game winning streak. They're playing good basketball. That was your chance to prove to people that this roster can beat a better team like the New York Knicks against teams like that around the NBA. And what happens? They go out there and they have a flat-footed third quarter, and it just leads into they can't find a way to dig themselves out of the hole. 4-3 on their 8-game road trip. And it kind of frustrates me because seeing what they were able to do, and I get it. It was the Washington Wizards. We know how bad the Wizards were, but that game was actually fun to watch. The way that they were flying around, the way that they were actually able to play in two different ways. And you go into this Knicks game, and it just did not look good come that second half. We're going to dive into that. And plus, a name that the Lakers were centered around. He has been on the move. We'll talk about that. But before I do any of that, I got to talk about my partners at Pechanga Resort Casino. And you can play a perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, the official Native American resort and casino of the Los Angeles Lakers. Skip the traffic. Head on over to Pechanga Resort Casino just off the I-15 in Temecula. Visit pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for reservations and for more information. So let's go back a little bit into that Wizards game. And I know the Wizards stink. The Lakers took care of business. That game was over by the time the second half was getting ready to start. It was fun. It was beautiful basketball to watch. That was finally a game where the Lakers were supposed to go out there and put their foot down and don't look back. And they did. They did. They did not let the momentum the momentum did not dip. They literally kept the whole entire lead throughout the entire game. And it was good to see them use their defense, utilize that into the offensive end of the floor. Guys were running, getting out into lanes. Lobs were getting thrown left and right. It was fun basketball to see. That's what you're supposed to do. You're the Los Angeles Lakers. You're a better team than the Wizards. You're supposed to go out there and beat them down like that. And then the game where we're all looking forward to against the New York Knicks, a Knicks team who has been playing better basketball throughout these past couple weeks. They're starting to figure out their lineup rotations. They're starting to figure out shot selections and how to get guys in and out of the lineup. Mike Brown's doing a better job at figuring out his rotations. And it has shown throughout these past couple of games for the New York Knicks. And I was looking forward to seeing how the Lakers are going to match up against the Knicks team who have quite a few all-stars on their team. And you look at the first half, Lakers are playing good basketball, defending the ball well. They're forcing Knicks turnovers. Jalen Brunson wasn't getting to his spots. Karl-Anthony Towns is getting frustrated, wasn't really getting the rock. And then you fast forward, second quarter, Knicks started to chip away. And I don't understand why Landry Shamet, one of the better three-point shooters on that Knicks roster, was getting wide open looks left and right. I know what the Lakers are trying to do, double Jalen Brunson early, make sure he gets rid of the ball and force others to beat you. Well, they did. They did beat you. The Lakers weren't able to make the necessary adjustments. Once again, come in the second half. And then we've seen it. When they play teams like this that are above 500, they struggle. They struggle. And then when they lose, they lose. And there's another double-digit loss for the Lakers. And one thing I get really frustrated with that game last night is that you look what they were trying to do defensively, and you see what their plan was. The Lakers were outscored in the third quarter, 38-26. They gave up 38 points in the third quarter. The Lakers only scored, I believe, 44 points total I believe, if I'm not wrong, 44 points in the second half. That's not going to get the job done. Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, and Jared Vanderbilt combined for a 2 of 17. 2 of 17 from the floor. That is 11%. Shout out Johan Buha for giving me that little tidbit right there. That is bad. They weren't getting any other help from, once again, besides LeBron and Luka. Rui Hachimura is doing his things. The Knicks had 6 guys in double figures. 6 guys in double figures. Jalen Brunson's getting to the basket. OG Anunoby's getting his bread and butter. Mikal Bridges is getting his bread and butter. Josh Hart is getting his bread and butter. Landry Shamet. If you're giving up 23 points to Landry Shamet, and honestly, he shot 6 of 10 from 3, you're going to lose games. And the fact that we listen to them go into the post game and JJ Redick saying that he believes in this roster and that they feel like they have the chance to actually contend and they have the chance to actually build off something and they can keep on improving and all the different types of things. This roster is not it. This roster can't get the job done. This roster is not going to beat the Nuggets. They're not going to beat the Thunder. They could possibly beat the Rockets, but who knows? This roster is just not it. And we have to be honest. Once again, they ran into a team that is above 500, who's playing better basketball. And what happens? They can't get the job done. And it starts off with the second half coming out flat-footed. How many times do we see in that second half, especially that third quarter? What were they doing offensively? It was legit watch and stand. And let's see Luka Doncic go one-on-one once again. Watch. And let's see what LeBron James can do going one-on-one once again. The Lakers try to do a 2-3 zone. They try to do a zone. And it was just too easy for a catching in the middle of the floor. And it got to the point where we were talking about that Lakers got to do a better job of helping out guys like Luka Doncic and the less better defenders on the team. It's gotten to the point where they were just helping too damn much and end up being wide open corner looks. So it got to the point where, no, now you're helping too damn much on the ball. Miscommunication. Guys are pointing fingers. Guys are putting the blame. That's all that stuff, the dysfunction that happened in that third quarter, and it led to a bad fourth quarter. 44 points in total what the Lakers scored in the second half. They got outscored 38-26 in the third quarter. Third quarter issues once again. Second half issues once again. And you would think that they will be collectively trying to get better, exert more of their energy on that end of the floor. But no, it's the same storyline. It's going to keep on going over and over and over again. You think that this team is going to beat a team like the Thunder or beat a team like the Nuggets? The Nuggets have been playing good basketball with majority of the guys in and out the lineup throughout the entire year. And I understand that Austin Reaves has not been in this lineup for over a month. But other teams in the NBA got issues too with their lineups, and they're figuring out ways to get most out of the rotational players. And that's the issue with this team, is that they can't get the most out of rotational players. If I see one more Jared Vanderbilt corner 3, I'm going to lose my stuff. And I'm just being honest. He's got to figure out how to move without that basketball, without always having to be a spot-up guy. When he cuts to the basket, good things happen. When he's sitting in the corner and they're able to overhelp and clog up the driving lanes for LeBron and Luka, then the Lakers run into some issues. When he's moving and cutting to the basket and he's actually catching a lob or he's getting a second chance opportunity, that's the better version of Jared Vanderbilt. We're not questioning his defense. This is the offensive issue because that third quarter, let's watch Luka Doncic go one-on-one. Jake LaRavia, there was one point in the game where Luka Doncic had the ball on the wing and he's literally just dribbling. And LaRavia did not move from that spot. And ended up being a step back, contested 3 from Luka Doncic. Knicks get the rebound, they gun out and they're running. Layup. That's what the Lakers offense was that entire second half. And it sucked because we looked at the moment. I'm like, oh, first quarter looked good. They're flying, they're moving, getting the passing lanes, getting deflections. Good. Second quarter, they build off of that. Good. And then what happens as soon as that second half hits, which has been the same storyline throughout this entire season? Third quarter woes. And they fall out and they have a complete flat line and they don't find the necessary adjustments to beat a better team. And I don't understand I know that we were curious to see if Austin Reaves is going to be playing in this 8-game road trip. I know there's a lot of reports going out there that this could be a possibility Austin Reaves returns this game, and another possibility that Austin Reaves can return in this game, and then just him being out. And I truly believe, yes, him coming into this lineup is going to help the Lakers out tremendously, especially on the offensive end of the floor. There is moments where you see, and you hear it on the broadcast, that yes, the Lakers are desperately needing Austin Reaves in certain moments, looking for other guys to get the scoring, looking for other guys to get into the driving lanes, kick it out, or have an opportunity to create for themselves. Austin Reaves is doing that. Remember, we got to remember that he was playing at an all-star level early this season. Unfortunately, that calf strain has been out for a month, and you see it. You see glimpses of, man, if Austin Reaves in this lineup, Lakers can get that type of look offensively. If he was in that lineup, then the Lakers and Luka Doncic and LeBron can play off of each other, and you just haven't had that. And now I assume that he's not going to be playing tomorrow night against the Brooklyn Nets, and as he shouldn't, get ready, get ramped up, and probably be ready to play in a home game against Sixers that's coming up on Thursday, or just play your cards safe and just wait until the All-Star break if you fully want to get him healthy, because the reports of him actually being there and be ready to go and he could make his return to his 8-game road trip, we didn't see it at all. So at this point, just play it safe. If you're the Lakers, just play it safe and wait till after the All-Star break, because Lakers are proved to win some games without him, but they also proved that they're going to need him down the stretch. They're going to need 100% healthy Austin Reaves down the stretch if they expect to do any noise in the Western Conference. The Lakers are sitting 6th in the Western Conference. They're fortunate enough that the Suns lost last night to keep them in the 6th seed. If the Suns would have won last night, do you know where the Lakers would have been sitting at? They would have been 7th. And it's crazy to me that people were saying this team can fall into a play-in. And I was like, no, there's no chance. I believe the Lakers are a top 4, top 5 team in the Western Conference. And as these weeks were going on, you just start to see them losing a couple games, and you start to see them falling off. I'm like, oh, there's a possibility that they really can. And yes, the possibility is really likely now that they could potentially be a playing team if they keep on playing this type of basketball. And the trade deadline is this Thursday. And there's already a guy that the Lakers are already centered, rumored around, and targeted. He's already on the move. We're going to discuss that. But it just sucks because you want to see the Lakers win games against better opponents. We don't care about the wins against the Wizards. We don't care about wins if they do win tomorrow night against the Brooklyn Nets. When you play against the Cavaliers, you lost. You got smacked. When you play against the Clippers, what happens? You lost. You beat the Denver Nuggets team. Good, but they didn't have Jokic. And I'm not going to dismiss that win because that's a great win on the road still against Denver Nuggets because they had Jamal Murray and have a couple of the role players on that team that can fill in a lot of shoes with Jokic out of the lineup. But that just goes to show you that I can't remember a game where, besides that Spurs game, where the Lakers beat a team that are above 500 and had a real win against a real opponent, not wins against the Wizards. You should win those games. Remember, the Lakers a couple weeks ago lost to the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento. The Kings are a bad team. They're a bad team. That just goes to show you how this Lakers team is. And we can't fall into the belief that they have the chance to make real noise in the Western Conference, not after the games I've been seeing against other Western Conference opponents. They say it themselves every single time. Teams in the Western Conference, it's tough. It's only going to get harder. And the way this roster is constructed, the way they're getting the bench production, Rui Hachimura is the only guy off the bench with double figures. Where is everyone else? You look at it. Jackson Hayes, 2 points. Gabe Vincent, 8 points. Vanderbilt, only 1 point. There's no other production from the bench. That's what I'm saying. That every other team is getting the most out of their whole entire roster, while the Lakers have to rely on isolation ball through the hands of Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Man, it's very, very frustrating to see them always lose a game against a better team, teams above 500. So there's a guy that went on the move. We'll talk about that on the other side, plus some more stuff in regards to the NBA. The All-Star reserves are also out. We'll talk about that right after I let my partners at Pachanga give you guys a quick word.
At Pachanga Resort Casino, you can rock and roll. sip, and slide. Twist and shout. Play your perfect combination at Pechanga Resort Casino, official Indian gaming sponsor of the Lakers.
Welcome back to Lakers Talk Daily. Whew. The Lakers lose last night to the New York Knicks 112-100. And when are we going to see better basketball from these teams? And there has been glimpses and there's been moments in certain areas of the game where, like, okay, we can see that. We can see them being a better team defensively. We can see them exert a lot of energy on that end of the floor. And then as soon as they run into better opponents, like the Knicks, the Cavaliers, the Clippers have been playing better basketball. The Lakers have struggled. They have struggled. And we'll see how it's going to look like with Austin Reaves coming back in the mix. I do believe that's going to be a big help on the offensive end of the floor. Defense is going to be the issue for this entire season. And we are going to be understanding that that's going to be the Lakers' biggest flaw. The teams are able to exploit what the Lakers' weaknesses are. And it's shown over the course of these weeks. And when are we going to get other production from others besides LeBron and Luka? And honestly, Rui hasn't playing good basketball. Laravia has been inconsistent. Marcus Smart, he brings a lot of necessary things as far as energy and effort on the defensive end of the floor. Offensively, he struggles. Vanderbilt does a lot of things, good things, second chance opportunity, hustle, energy plays, dives on the floor for loose balls, able to pick guys up 94 feet. Offensively, where is he at? If he's shooting a corner three, then that's a win-win for the other opponent. Gabe Vincent, inconsistent. Jackson Hayes does a lot of good things coming off of the bench. But once again, they do not have the right personnel, the right group to really make a significant run to be a championship level team. And it's okay just looking at this roster constructed. That's why it leads me into this. There was another trade that's been made. And this is probably this is the second biggest trade, if you want to say, because there's going to be more as this week progresses come trade deadline this Thursday. So we've seen Trae Young getting traded to the Wizards, which he has yet to play a game. There's another one. And this is one that the Lakers were centered around. And Shams put it out that the Cleveland Cavaliers are trading DeAndre Hunter to the Sacramento Kings. Yeah, that's right. Let me say it one more time. The Cleveland Cavaliers are trading DeAndre Hunter to the Sacramento Kings for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. And it's a 3-team deal. So the Chicago Bulls are a part of that deal. And they acquired Dario Saric and 2 future second-round picks. And I looked at that. I'm like, are you kidding me? The Cavaliers are trading DeAndre Hunter to the Sacramento Kings? Why the hell are they doing that? What sense does that make for the Cavaliers? But then you look at other reports that's being out. The Cavaliers are creating $50 million in the cap space. That's what I read going in throughout the season because they've been a second apron team. The Kings got a lot to offload of because they're in that tanking season right now. And it just goes and it leads me into this. If the Kings are able to land DeAndre Hunter, who everyone felt like the asking price for him is going to be a lot. And the Kings were able to get rid of Dennis Schroeder. And guess what? Another name that the Lakers were centered around, Keon Ellis. You know what that goes and tells me? That the Lakers are really, really in contention to acquire DeAndre Hunter or even acquire a guy like Keon Ellis. And the 2 teams that you were trying to acquire those guys from, they make a trade with each other. That tells me that the Lakers didn't have the necessary assets. They weren't trying to offload of something, which is a future first-round pick or future picks. Because the fact that the Cavaliers and Kings were able to do this trade, they probably looked at that Lakers roster and they're like, why do we want an expiring contract with Gabe Vincent? Why do we want an expiring contract with Rui, which the Lakers don't want to trade? And I do believe they should not trade Rui Hachimura. He's been playing better basketball. I know he had that one game against Cleveland Cavaliers, but he's going to get better. At this point, you see the other things that the Lakers have. What teams want some of their guys? They don't want Dalton Connect. He has been unplayable. His value dropped significantly. So you look at it, the Kings and the Cavaliers were able to make a deal. And let me tell you something. The Cavaliers got a little better because they added a veteran in Dennis Schroeder, and they added a wing defender. And honestly, Keon Ellis is shooting around 40% from three. So the Cavaliers are getting better. The Kings got a little promise because they got a lot of money off their books, and they're looking to rebuild. And that means DeAndre Hunter is part of the rebuilding process. So the Kings got a little plan. What is the Lakers' plan going in to this trade deadline? What are the names the Lakers are trying to go out and get? I guarantee you, Herb Jones the Lakers are not going to acquire. This is me. This is just me speaking. Herb Jones and Trey Murphy III. I'm telling you right now, I don't think the Pelicans are willing to trade those guys because they're gonna have to trade off a lot of their picks, offload some of their expiring contracts just to even acquire a guy like that. And we've seen what Herb Jones did against the Lakers. Do you really want to offload those future first round picks? Do you really think Trey Murphy III is going to be that one piece to help you guys out come the postseason? Probably not, right? There's this trade for the Cleveland Cavaliers trading DeAndre Hunter to the Kings just tells me that the Kings had the pieces that the Cavaliers wanted. And they did. They got Schroeder and they got Keon Ellis. The Lakers did not have any single thing that was very, very interesting if they really were trying to get DeAndre. Remember, this is all reports. This is all things we're seeing, all speculation that the Lakers are really, really hungry to get DeAndre Hunter. And it's just crazy to me that the two guys that were centered around the Lakers, Hunter and Keon Ellis, literally on the two teams that Lakers were in talks with. Lakers don't have the necessary guys to make a big splash. And that's why it leads me to do not do anything come this trade deadline. Stay patient. Don't do anything. Ride this season out. Wait until the offseason. Have an actual plan. Go in there with the mindset that we need to put the right pieces around Luka Doncic and potentially Austin Reaves. That should be the plan going in. And I understand the Lakers have always been that team to be real aggressive come trade deadline. We got to get this piece now. We're one guy away. We're one guy away from winning a title. Or one guy away from reaching our goal. That has been the same narrative throughout these past couple of seasons, and it led them to first round exit, Western Conference Final exit, another first round. That's literally has been the storyline for the Lakers. So why keep on doing things like that just to be aggressive, just to show that, okay, well, we're listening, we're willing to do stuff come trade deadline. It's okay if you don't have success this season. I know everyone's been saying that this is potentially going to be a gap year. It might be. Just look at how the roster was constructed going into the season. We knew that I was like, this is not really a team that can really make some noise in the Western Conference. It looked really good early on with DeAndre Ayton. It looked really good with the way the Lakers were playing. And then injuries took a toll. And then having to get other role players to step up in their role didn't work out. You're seeing it. I understand the injury bug hit the Lakers hard. They have not been with their guys, Austin Reaves, Luka Doncic, and LeBron James. But if you can't be in trade consideration for Keon Ellis and maybe even DeAndre Hunter, that goes to tell me that other teams, the asking price for whatever Lakers are going to go out and try to get is going to be a lot. And you have to be in the Lakers to understand that is that really what you want to do right now with the possibility knowing that you won't get over that hump and you probably will be either early second round exit. That's what the Lakers need to understand. It's okay to be patient. It is okay to understand that you got one of the most blockbuster trades in a long time in NBA history in acquiring Luka Doncic. You have a plan. You have a future. Wait. There's no need to be that aggressive. But if the asking price is right and it's someone that you can time up Luka Doncic with for the foreseeable future, then listen. But don't just make a move just to feel like you can win a championship now. That's what the Lakers should not be doing. So I thought that was very interesting seeing that trade go down with DeAndre Hunter for Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. And by the way, Dennis Schroeder, that brother is a journeyman. He can do something really funny and play damn near for every single team in the NBA. That man legit. I always see those memes about like the rainbow, the color rainbow, whatever. Dennis Schroeder damn near has finished off that whole coloring palette. But let's see what the Lakers are going to do. Trade deadline is approaching this Thursday. Let's see what other names they're going to be centered around. I still am going to stand flat that the Lakers should not do anything come this trade deadline. Now, we'll slow down a little bit. The reserves for the All-Star have been announced. And guess who is on the All-Star reserves? LeBron James will be on the All-Star reserves. And I think my guy Parker Bell is ready to go. Parker Bell, are you ready to jump in with me, my boy? You're muting.
I might have been muted on your end, but
There you go. Here we go.
Good, man. Good to see you guys. Got a lot that we've been getting into today. And honestly, I mean, it's been so LeBron focused, so trade deadline focused. Yeah, we've kind of let some of this other news slip through the cracks. You know, a lot of the LeBron taking away potentially a spot in the All-Star game to Kawhi. I kind of wanted to get your thoughts on that just in general. When it comes to the coaches voting someone in like LeBron, my stance personally, you look at the stats, yes, Kawhi, you got to give him credit when credit is due. He's having a great season. I look at an All-Star game as a situation of who's the best ambassador of the game. You look at the guys like the Pistons, who shout out to Duran, who got his first All-Star bid. Guys like that who are on a young, hot team who can bring new fans in. Is Kawhi Leonard, who really doesn't even care to play most of the season? I mean, shouts out to him again for doing what he's doing this season, but somebody who's not really an ambassador of the game, is that somebody who you want out there? What are your thoughts just with the coaches voting in Braun?
Look, man, I think because everyone's having this speculation that this could potentially be LeBron's last season, right? So I think he kind of got more of the voting because you can't have an All-Star game with LeBron James not in. That's just my personal perspective. He's still playing one of the most better basketball in the entire NBA at the age of 41. I understand what Kawhi Leonard has been doing, especially how the Clippers have changed their season around like that. And I believe Kawhi Leonard's averaging about 27 points per game. He's shooting about 40% from the field and 40 from three. He's having a really solid season. He's actually been really durable this season. I know he's missed a couple of games, but for the most part, you can say he's been durable. He's been doing a lot of work for the Clippers. But when you look at LeBron James and you just look at the storyline, what sells? Kawhi Leonard being an all-star lineup or LeBron James, which could potentially be his last season? Or is LeBron James going to be going into the offseason, adding him into the all-star, which we know the all-star weekend has been, for being honest, has not been really that eye-popping. You got to add someone like LeBron James to kind of make more of a noise. And just, I think that's where I'm at. And it's not like he's having a bad season. He's having a good season himself. And when the league looks at it, the Lakers are the better team, record-wise, against the Clippers. So I don't feel like Kawhi Leonard got snubbed, if we're being honest. Simple as that. I just keep it that simple.
No, I think that's a good explanation. I mean, you know, you could look at stats and you can look at all that, but a lot of times basketball and you know, you look at our guy Cody Lou's comment in the chat saying, you know, still the face of the league in some ways. You do have to capitalize on that. But speaking of like faces of the league and faces of leagues in general, I wanted to bring up this topic that I saw during the broadcast. Caitlin Clark made her NBC debut, of course, alongside Reggie and the team there, Jamal Crawford and Tarico. Now, she made a comment when they were asking about, you know, who do you look to? And whether this was just her playing with the teams that were there available to her so she could talk about them, or this was really her true thoughts. She mentioned that Luka Doncic, let me go ahead and give it up her head so you can see it. Luka Doncic is actually the one person in the NBA whose game she studies the most in order to level up her game because of the pace that he plays with, getting other teams involved, really being like a dual threat on the offensive side. You can score or you can pass. And of course, Caitlin's been known to do both of those things. So my question to you, really it's less about Caitlin and more about who's the most. I don't know how to word this in terms of like which player do you think is the most study vibes? Like you could study them to get the most out of your game because there's a lot of players who you just can't replicate, unfortunately. I mean, the NBA is what it is. It's a lot of freaks of nature, a lot of athletes. You can't beat LeBron, but you could study certain aspects of his game. Luka, though, is a player who slows the game down, and maybe as a more general, just college athlete, high school athlete, you can actually replicate that.
Okay. First thing that pops up is if we're looking at as far as like her skill set and the guard play,
Sure.
maybe kind of look at Shai Gilgeous, the way he kind of changes his speed and gets to the free throw line. I know he can be, a lot of people like to say, a free throw merchant, but there is moments where he kind of gets to a spot, uses the pump fakes really well, but he's becoming a better passer, especially this season. And just his ability to get to the mid range and being able to shoot one-legged footers and all those different types of stuff and his craftiness, that can be another guy that a lot of people, especially in this new age of basketball, will look up to. I still believe a guy like Kevin Durant, his footwork, getting to his spot is another one you can still watch and get more of a inside perspective on like, okay, I like the way he can kind of pivot. I mean, his size difference is another thing. And then honestly, one of my favorite players in the league, Anthony Edwards, his ability to finish around the rim. You know what I mean? His craftiness. Yeah. I know he's one of the most explosive players in the league, but also look at how he's expanded his range. He shot a lot more threes compared to the early on in his career to now. And it's the way he's shooting his threes, coming off of the screen, coming off of the dribble. He's actually been more of a catch and shoot guy. So I think there's a lot of different guys you can kind of pick your brain apart and kind of get, feel like, okay, how do you get to your spot and how do you get to that level? And, things like that.
Oh, no, I like those names. I mean, I think that there's honestly a lot of underrated people too that you can watch. I saw a lot of people just in discourse on social media talking about players to study. If you're just, I don't know, chat, just take me for instance. If you're just a 5, sometimes 6 foot with shoes, white guy, you could look at guys like TJ McConnell who just work hard on the court, but also do things so fundamentally where you can just study that game to where it's like that mid range. How can you get it off above players taller than you? Exactly. So that brings me to the last question. DeAndre, you set up, I don't know if Beto's in the chat here. I know Cody Lewis, who might be there. You set up a little work related, some friends basketball game. We're going to be playing Wednesday. So I got to ask you, and I'll give my comp, and everybody in the chat, you can give your comp as well. Who is your NBA comp? Who am I going to be looking at and seeing when I watch DeAndre play on Wednesday?
Oh, man.
For me, I'll start, by the way. For me, I'm more of a, we've played together before in the past. I'm more of a defensive-centric character and a slasher. So that will put me in the categories of guys like, I don't know, maybe like a Tabo Cephalosha. Like I don't be getting buckets.
Tabo Cephalosha.
But I'm definitely like a 3-and-D archetype, except the 3 is just less.
That's crazy, bro. You know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and say, no, I'm more like an Andre Roberson. Nah, I'm just playing.
Hey, keep it going.
No, but I would say maybe this Wednesday, and I always talked about it because early on with Draymond Green was very, very. He's a smart basketball. I know he's got an older side, and he's kind of been one of those guys like whatever is Draymond. But early Draymond, I'm talking about with Clay and KD. Draymond Green was a really good passer. He was actually able to expand his range out, but he was a good defender. So I kind of see myself just because of his size. He's kind of a smaller forward if you want to really think about it. But the edge, the attitude. I'm not kicking nobody, in the what. I tell you that. I'm very respectful on the basketball court.
Hey, but you will get edgy. I'll give you that. You'll get edgy, and I appreciate that about you. That's what we do on Lakers Talk Daily. We get edgy and we talk about the stuff that maybe they don't talk about everywhere else. But DeAndre, I'll leave you to it. I'll let you close. Just know that I might not be giving you buckets on Wednesday, but like J99861 said in the chat, I'm gonna be like Kurt Rambis out there. I'll clothesline somebody if I have to.
Kurt Rambis. You got some Bill Lambiers out there. Oh man, that was a fun episode. Appreciate you guys as always tuning in. The Lakers will look to close out their 8-game road trip with the win tomorrow night in Brooklyn. Trade deadline is this Thursday. Are the Lakers going to make a move, or are they going to stay on my stance and just stay patient and have a proper plan going into the offseason? We shall see. But for myself, my guy Parker Bell and the social media team, thank you guys in the YouTube chat for always tuning in and locking in with me on Lakers Talk Daily. As always, I'll be talking to you guys tomorrow. We out.